Hello everybody, this is T Walker, aka Tanner, and I've noticed that there's a lot of videos on DMing for tabletops, and I want to do one that's more for the players, or do a series that's more for players and, how to actually interact with the world you're given, how to interact with NPCs, but this first video I'm going to do is about just plain tabletop etiquette, how you should, act while you're at the DM's table. And, that's kind of the first point. When you're there, it is the DM's table, alright? He's put in a lot of work, I'm sure. Or, I mean, even if he's just winging it and has nothing prepared, he's still doing a lot of work. He has to come up with all the characters. He needs to come up with all the monsters. It's not easy being a DM, alright? So, I guess my first point is, respect what the DM does for you, alright? He is the sole reason why you have this world to interact with, why there's a story, why there's NPCs, alright? While you add to that, I mean, it really is his or her campaign, alright? A lot of players think, oh, especially some of the ones I have, think, oh, I'm here, that's enough. No, that's not enough. You being there is not enough. You need to be prepared, alright? Just like your DM is prepared, alright? You need to be prepared to role play. You need to be, prepared to use what abilities you have, use them in a wise way. But, I mean, back to the first point, respect the DM. He works hard for you. You should work hard for him. You should, be ready, be there, be, ready to be your character, alright? That is who you are for however long you play. Another important thing is leave stress/work off of the table. Alright? And this is really important. If you have a bad day, your bad day, well, might be really bad, is no reason to ruin a good story. Alright? If it really is bad, emergency, something horrible happened, opt out of playing. Alright? Say, I can't make it tonight, something bad come up. If it's not that bad and you still want to play, be there to play. Don't let that bad day ruin the story. Don't let, you got an offender bender and now you're, pissed off. So instead of actually playing, you dive into a water full of crocodiles and try to kill yourself. That's not playing. That's just being stupid. Alright, that's ruining the story for, not just for you, but for the DM who's worked very hard to make it, and for the rest of the players. You're ruining their time when you bring outside events into the game. Alright? So, I guess the most important part of, tabletop etiquette is don't break character. Alright? When you're texting, like at the tabletop game, you're not playing. When you're talking to your buddy, about that band you heard the other day, you're also not playing. I mean, the whole point of a tabletop is to exist in a world outside of reality. So when you're at the tabletop, stop trying to exist in reality, alright? Embrace the world you're given. Okay? I mean, you're there to play through a story. So play through that story, okay? You don't want to, when you talk to your friends about, stuff that happened during the day, different events, you're taking away from this, world. I mean, the most harm it's doing is not only to you, but to everyone around you. They're listening in on your conversation. No one's paying attention to the DM as he's trying to give the description. You guys don't know what the world looks like. And when you don't know what the world looks like, you don't know how to interact with it. And it just takes away from the whole game when you can't focus on, the campaign, on the story, on, the details, alright? Another thing. Speak as if you were there, alright? I mean, as if you yourself were there. Try to be your character. Alright, I'll go into different points on that later in the series, but really try to pretend you're there. Don't say, my character thinks blah 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 this. I mean, say I think this. You are your character for this set amount of hours. You are the M. You are, the fighter. You are the wizard. You are this person, alright? You have a backstory. You have depth. You're not this useless hunk of metal who just slashes enemies up. You should, pretend like you were there. Interact with the environment as if you were there. Alright? Next thing, if something's unclear to you, alright, or something's not well explained, or you want to look at something, wait for a pause before asking the DM. The DM might be explaining something to somebody else at that moment. Wait for a pause and say, hey, I didn't catch that, what was in the corner again? Was it a pile of rubbish? Was it, what was it? And so then ask them to re-explain it. Another thing, try very hard to listen to the DM when he's giving his descriptions. Alright, that should go without saying. You should be paying attention to him while he's describing a room. How else are you going to know how to interact with that room? How else are you going to know, what's in that room, the intricacies of it? Like, is that a pile of trash in the corner, or is that a cupboard? You don't know. It's just a box drawn in on the DM mat. Alright, that's another thing. The DM mat, or the mat, is the DM's also. He should be the only one drawing on it, unless he says, I want you guys to draw it out as I describe it to you. That's fine too. Don't take the little pens. I tend to have a problem with this with my players sometimes, and it's one of the things that really irritates me as a DM, is my players will, take pens, or my pens for the mat, and, draw breasts on a river. Come on, guys. It should go without saying, don't do that. That's just stupid. Everybody goes, oh, look at that, there's breasts on the river. That's dumb. That ruins the story, that takes everybody out of the mood. Don't do that. Alright? Next point. If you think something is funny, and not funny within the game, maybe the DM, slipped up, described something funny, made a mistake, let it slide. Let it slide until you guys take a break, and then maybe comment on it, alright? Try not to take away from this environment that the DM is creating for you, alright? Try to really, really embrace it, alright? But if you're commenting on, you comment his grammar, you comment, maybe his word choice wasn't that great, try to really envision it in your mind. It's not easy to paint a picture with words, alright? And so try to help your DM out by just embracing what he's saying, and really thinking about what that would look like, or how you imagine that to look like, and really try to exist in that world. Alright, so I guess my main point in this video is, don't distract from the game or the campaign or the story. We tend to call it a game, but it's more than that. It's a story. You are people in this story, and you should act as such. And distracting from that, from the real world things, takes away from that story. Alright? It takes away what you're trying to do as characters, why you're even, in this game, playing through this campaign. It's a way to escape reality. So, because my main point is, stop trying to embrace it. Don't distract from this new world which you're trying to explore. No, that's it for my first video. This has been Tabletop Etiquette by T Walker, aka Tanner.